So I want to go through a quick getting started example on the ReadyEdge to show you what the interface looks like and how you do some basic setup. And then we're going to go into some more detail to show you how to set up AGS, so an automated generator start system, and how the feedback works and how you configure it within LiveView to accomplish basically the functionality that I've been talking about with the examples that we've shown you here. So you have your ReadyEdge and you know that you have to get to LiveView and you're not really sure what to do and you don't really want to open up the quick start guide, which I suggest that you do. Well, here's a quick tip. On the side of your ReadyEdge, there is a sticker. It shows you the serial number, the MAC address, and the LiveView address. So the LiveView address, when you have DHCP enabled, which it is by default, is going to drive you to the to LiveView. You can also use the IP address, and you can use the app to get the IP address if for some reason you're not able to use the LiveView address, which some networks may want. But you plug in that LiveView address once you've plugged your Ethernet into your local LAN network, and then you should get LiveView up there. And we're going to show you what that looks like as well. So what I'm going to do next is switch to my real live demo set here, and we'll talk about getting started once you get into LiveView. The first thing it's going to ask you to do is set a password. And then I always suggest you check and update the firmware, which I'll show you. And then I'll show you how to get started on SolarConnect, which will give us a nice introduction onto how to use LiveView with our system. Okay, so here we are. This is a ReadyEdge that I have up on my test bench behind me here. And we see we already have some settings here. So like I said, when you first come here, it'll ask you to create an administrator password. If the administrator password does not work, or if somehow you've been able to get through or you restarted this and it doesn't ask you, the default password is Morningstar, but you do need to change that. So I've already set up my password. And so I'm going to put that in, and now that's going to unlock all the features that allow control, anything other than just viewing basic data. We see more tabs available here as well. So first thing I want to show you is if you do need to reset that password, we're going to come into Setup. We're going to go into Admin, and then we can put in our new password here. Okay, and once you put in that new password, you're going to have to save it. And to save it, there is a thing up here. Since I made the password the same, it's not going to let me save it, but that's okay. There's the save button up here, which you always want to do. That's going to initiate a reboot of the ReadyEdge to make sure that all that new information is stored properly, and then you can come back to LiveView. Okay, and then once we get set up with our admin password, we are going to want to make sure to update our firmware. So we can come over to Update here once we're unlocked, and then we can choose a file. So I'm going to just show you the complete process here. On our web page, and this is true for all of our products, once you navigate to the product page, on the right side of the screen, there is always going to be a firmware button that you can click to get to the website to download that. So you can click on the firmware here. It'll download it into a zip file, unzip the file, pull the firmware out onto your desktop or wherever you want to save it. And then here, coming back here, we can choose the file. In this case, we have the PostStar. I will choose, because I've already taken it out, for the ReadyEdge. In this case, we have up to 5.4. It might be newer firmware by the time you watch this video. And then we can upload it, and it will guide you through the process. Be patient. It does take some time, especially depending on which firmware you're updating from. Older firmware to newer firmware takes longer. If you're just updating a small revision, it might be a bit quicker. But follow the process. It'll guide you through it. We also have a more in-depth video of that as well. Keep the firmware check button here, done, it'll automatically reboot the unit. It just makes it a little bit easier for you, a little less guesswork involved as to what status it's at. Once it's all done, you'll see on the ReadyEdge itself that the top light becomes green and solid, and then you know that it's done. And then we want to get onto SolarConnect. So we're going to come back onto setup once we updated our firmware. We're going to go into the networking section, and we're going to scroll down, and we're going to find the SolarConnect section here. There's a question mark. You can read more about it. By default, when new ReadyEdge is going to be disabled. For security reasons, you have to manually enable SolarConnect. And after you do that, a couple minutes later, your claim code will pop up. Save this claim code. You'll use it to register the device on the SolarConnect. So then you come to solarconnect.morningstarcorp.com, and you will create an account. Once you create that account, you'll confirm your email address. Then you come back to the site, put in your login information that you've created, and then you will be in SolarConnect here. And then initially, this will be mostly blank because you won't have any assets connected to it. And then we'll come to add device. We'll enter that claim code, and then we'll name our ReadyEdge whatever we want. And then you can claim the device. And if the device has not been claimed before, this will work and it will be added onto your organization, onto the account that you just created. At that point, you can add other users, you can add other devices, whatever you want. I will quickly show you what that looks like. So the same device that we have here is the same one that I was showing you in LiveView. We're now looking at in SolarConnect. So we see the digital inputs, we see the alerts, we see the voltage levels, we see all the basic information we see in LiveView. And then we see our SunSaver MPPT, which is connected. We can click on that to get more information. There's constantly updates coming out with SolarConnect. So by the time you get there, there might be even extra features available to you. You can get email notifications. So if there's a fault or an alarm or the device goes offline, you get an email notifying you. And this is per user. And then we have our graphing and our data charts as well, giving you all the information you need about the system, historical data, initially up to a week. So quickly before I jump back to the ReadyEdge, SolarConnect is free. It'll always be free for our users, although we will have paid tiers coming into the future, allowing you for large fleet deployments over hundreds of units, for faster data collection, longer data storage, things like that will be available as we continue to update the functionality. But the basic tier of SolarConnect will always be free. So you can commit to SolarConnect and to the ReadyEdge and to Morningstar devices and know that long term that this is going to be a tool that you can use and you won't have to start paying for it unless you want these advanced features. There's a whole webinar on SolarConnect that you can go to get a lot more information about how all this works.